So we have open this Lenovo ThinkPad, and we're just looking around and taking a little tour. Inside we've got a number of cables. Let's look and see if we can figure out what some of these cables are. If we look really, really close, this one says mono out. Mono out. That means sound out. So this little cord right here, I can pull it straight up. This little cord with the black and the red going to this little thing here, that's a little tiny speaker. And that's on the front of the computer case. So if I was to flip it down, speaker is right about here. And this is the little plug that plugs the speaker in to the power. Now, one thing is very important when you're plugging things in inside of a computer is to plug things straight down. So I have to be very careful and plug that straight down. What else do we see back here? There's a fan that's on the front of the computer that pulls air in the front. It doesn't blow air out. It comes through the front, it goes through the heat sink, through this fan, and through that fan. So it's really trying to keep the inside of that processor cool. And here's a cord right here. This is how the front fan is getting its energy. It's got this little tiny cord here, and it's attached to that part of the main board. We can see we've got our headphone port there, our microphone port there, our two USB ports there. Now here's something interesting around this side. There's another blue tabs. These are easy pull-out tabs for usually used for a school or work computer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull this straight up. We'll see what happens. It's coming. Got to be very careful to pull straight up. There we go. And what we've got here, and we can see it on here, if I turn it around a little bit. This is called a riser card. If I can focus in on there, there it goes. PCI, that's the kind of card, it's a riser card. So on this computer, you could add something into this computer, into this slot, but this slot, anything you add into this computer is probably going to be taller than the computer is. And so this little riser card, this just changes the direction of the slot. If you take a look, I'm going to put this in here like this into the slot, and now we could plug in something sideways, and then it would point out the back. This is where a new video card would go. So suppose you wanted to do fast video games. You would plug in a new video card here, it would stick out the back, and then when you plug your screen in, you plug your screen into the back of this card where this little metal spot would be. Now that we have that riser card out, let's see if we have something else in there. And we do, right here. This is the battery. You probably didn't know your computer had a battery, did you? But when the computer is off or unplugged, like it is right now, the computer needs a battery to keep certain information stored on the inside of the computer. It also needs the battery to keep the clock going, so that every computer actually has a clock. This is a rechargeable battery. If this battery ever stops working, then the computer will also stop working, and the battery will have to be replaced. This battery couldn't run the computer or anything. It's just to keep the clock going and to keep a very small amount of information in storage, information that's necessary for the computer to actually start up correctly. Otherwise, if that battery was removed, the computer wouldn't even start up. So that's our just quick tour of the inside of the computer. Over on the right-hand side here, this is what's called our power supply. This is where the electricity comes in the back. The electricity is converted from alternating current into direct current. There's a little fan to help keep that cool, push air through it. And you can see that all these cords, these power cords, come out of the power supply. Sometimes, like if your house has an electrical surge, these will burn out, and those can be replaced. A person that's building a computer from scratch can actually buy all of these components that were taken apart separately. And what we'll do is we'll look at one computer another time and see how those could be put together.